What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another awesome Q&A video. I am here with you, Renata from Nourish with Renata, your intuitive nutrition coach, here to empower women to nourish their bodies, minds, and spirits. And I'm joined by the incredible Coach Mack.
Hello, everyone. Like she said, I'm Coach Mack, the founding health coach of Running with Bacon, where I help women become their strongest, fittest selves, one small step at a time.
I love it. So today we have an incredible question that I am so curious to hear Mack's answer. So this is the question. How do you reconcile not being able to do now what you could do before an injury? And a little context for this one, for the person that asked this, they used to be a really avid runner and then had an Achilles injury and now can only run a couple of miles at a time. So Mack, how do you answer this amazing question?
Well, first, I would like to say that even being able to run a couple miles at a time, to me, is a massive measure of success after an Achilles injury. So I think just the fact that you got back to that point is a really big gold star for you. And while it may not be what you were doing before in terms of mileage, you are still you got back at it. And I think that's a lot more than a lot of people can say. So that's part one, is give yourself some credit because you're freaking doing it. Kind of the second part is that I would say it's going to take time, and it's probably going to be more time than you want. And does that mean that you're ever going to fully get back to the mileage that you were racking up before? Maybe, maybe not. There's really no way to know that. I mean, I can't see into the future. I don't know about you, but I can't see into the future. So there's no way to know. And also, if it's something that if when you're running now, you're still having pain and soreness and things like that, it may be that your rehab isn't completely done yet, that this is just part of your process. And then once your body is fully healed, you may be jumping right back into those, 10Ks or half marathons or however far you want to run. Totally up to you. I will say, on the flip side of that, you may not ever be back to normal. Having that type of injury is a really substantial injury. So I think it's only fair to yourself to leave that as a possibility and learn to be okay with it. Because it's just like I tell my clients all the time, because I work with a lot of women with children. I'm like, your body is not the same before you had a baby. I know a baby is not an injury, so don't misinterpret this, but you're not the same. You're a different person. Your body changed. You grew a dang human. So you can't expect the same things from before pregnancy and after pregnancy. They're going to be some things that are different. The same happens when we have a substantial injury or surgery or life event. We're not the same person. So it's not fair really to expect our bodies to be able to do the same, but that's okay. We have to be okay with that. I'm thinking back to when I was a high school athlete. I can't do that same stuff because I'm not that person anymore. My body is not that anymore. So that's okay. But it just is being okay with both scenarios, whichever way it ends up going, whether you are able to properly heal and get back into the mileage that you once did, or your body's different now and you may have to train differently. So I think those are kind of my little caveated answers to different parts of this, because everybody's going to have a different healing process, a different journey of what that looks like and what returning to activity looks like for you. So what are your thoughts on it? A little bit, less on the physical injury side of it.
Yeah, so I love everything that you mentioned, and I want to touch a little bit more on the mindset piece. So mindset when it comes to your health, whether it be your physical health, your nutrition, and anything in between, really that comes down to your mindset. And so the first thing I will say is there seems to be a lot of terror or fear in our society around change. Change is actually the one thing that we know to be constant. Change is actually completely beautiful if we can learn to look for the beauty in it. And so while you may not be able to run the distances that you had previously or stretch in the same way or be able to lift as much, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. So us as humans, we're constantly looking for meaning in something. And oftentimes that meaning tends to bring us down. And that is a learned behavior. So instead of that, look for the good in the change that's occurring. So maybe you can't run as far as you did previously. Awesome. Maybe you can lift more. Maybe you have more energy when you're playing with your kids. Maybe you're just feeling more energetic in your body because you're not spending an hour, 2 hours running outside. There's all these different benefits that you can have as long as you start training your brain to look for the good. So that would be my biggest tip. Change, it's inevitable, and you always have the power to choose what you want to focus on. So look for the good.
I love that perspective. And it's also a great, you said it beautifully. I mean, it's a great opportunity to look for the benefits. It might push you into an activity or a new way of exercising or something that you didn't even know you liked. So it may, it's like when one door closes, another door opens, or window, or whatever the saying is.
Something opens.
Yeah, something opens up. But it's just opening your brain to be willing to accept the change and then see how that might look different going forward. So super appreciate that perspective of it. And so if this is something you're dealing with, that you have an injury or a big life change that you are trying to overcome and figure out what's on the other side of it, it might be a good time to just sit down and look at the opportunities, the benefits of that situation, even if it's not ideal. So thank you so much for that question and that answer, and we will see you guys in the next one.